This is such a nice photo. I should share it. Oh wait, was that too much? Now the picture just looks horrible. Maybe I shouldn't have. Ooh, a new comment. Wait, why can we see your oversharing? This is something we've probably all been through, online or off. You probably remember that one time you posted that embarrassing photo, or when you went on a rant at 1 a.m. about an existential crisis, only to delete it in the morning, but too late. Screenshots. So, at what point does sharing become, well, too much? So, oversharing isn't exactly a new thing. It's something that happens even offline. It's almost reminiscent of that one time I bared my heart and soul to someone only to get a K. But you have to admit, it definitely feels a bit more prevalent and exaggerated with social media. So I've always been the kind of person who had private social media accounts and really couldn't be bothered. And it wasn't until later on that I realized that was just how the people around me were, my inner circle, my friends and family. But being a writer since about the age of 13, I wanted a way to share my work to a broader audience, and I didn't really know how to do that. So in came social media, and that's the beauty of the internet, you get to reach a wider audience, but therein also lies the bad news. And who can blame us? The status boxes of these platforms literally ask, "What's on your mind?" It's practically designed to want our deepest and darkest secrets. Amateur jokes aside, I'm still trying to find a way to use social media more meaningfully, not in just what I consume, but in what I create. And this could range from the mundane, overly personal information to the potentially more dangerous kind. And so that posed a new problem for me. The very real dangers that could come with sharing online. So I asked on Instagram, pretty ironic, and I got some really interesting comments. But the basic summary was how social media seems to be the worst place to post your feelings. Yet, here I am. There's always the danger of fraud, stalking, even offline, and even identity theft. And I don't mean to scare you, or maybe I do. I feel like sometimes that's the shove we need to do better. My point is an increased awareness and mindfulness around general social media usage. I mean, thanks to Snapchat, we now have the concept of stories, which are basically snippets of your day. But at what point does it become oversharing? I think that sometimes we assume that only the people we know and care about, and vice versa, are the ones that will see these things. Just ask yourself this: if this were to potentially go viral, as anything we post has the chance to, would you mind? That's a general rule of thumb I sometimes use. Yet here I am, and I know what Dio had for breakfast yesterday and how he hooked up with his ex last week. And these might be innocuous enough, but why do I also know the hotel you're currently staying at? And more importantly, who the heck is Dio? Now, another thing I ask myself is, who else is involved? Is this somebody else's story? And so that would mean that I need permission to share or keep them as anonymous as humanly possible. I've often wondered if a moment loses its beauty because it's not seen. Does something never really happen if no one is there to see it? Every evening, the sun sets beautifully and we barely notice it, but does that take away from how stunning it really is? Now, oversharing means different things to different people. To me, it's leaving my precise and exact location on things, especially while I'm still there, or answering random quizzes on my timeline, which could potentially be social security questions. To someone else, it could be sharing a picture of a day-old baby to the entire internet, or a picture of your boarding pass for a future trip, and even though you attempt to blur out your name, we can kind of still see the barcode. To be completely transparent, I'm not going to pretend like I have this all figured out. I still struggle with finding a wholesome balance and tweet responsibly, because I'm really one of those people that doesn't believe that everything needs to be shared, at least not online anyway. And you never know who's watching, and that's why we have the concept of IRL friends. So now I get to share my work and not my entire life, at least, as collateral damage. And like I've always shared, my stance on social media in general is it's a pretty useful tool, and I think that tools in themselves are neutral. I mean, if you need to do an audit of your online friends or even offline friends, or revisit your privacy settings, maybe you should. The truth really is that it's dicey and we can't be too careful. If I feel even the slightest discomfort with posting something, I just won't post it. Like, sometimes it can be that easy. Now, I'd love to know what oversharing means to you in the comments, and any wild examples that you've seen, and I will see you there.